If you grew up anything like how I did, Sandbox games were pretty much everything you could have ever wanted in a game. Just the ability to jump into a world that allowed you to basically do anything and everything you could possibly imagine was such an exciting experience. I think of games like Little Big Planet, which had sandbox elements, or even Minecraft creative mode, and especially Gmod. These games have experiences attached to them that really are unparalleled, and they offer memories that you just can't get with other game genres. Sandbox games are still alive and well, and there are still many out there that are plenty worth checking out. So how's everyone going? I'm Caleb from Cubo Gaming, and in today's video, we'll be taking a look at the top 10 best sandbox games that you can currently play on Steam. First up is Totally Reliable Delivery Service, a game about totally unreliable parcel delivery services, where you're tasked with delivering packages around the huge sandbox world, and you have to overcome obstacles and challenges and dealing with things like the ragdoll and the physics. The game can be played either solo or in co-op, and the co-op definitely makes the game more interesting as you and your friends can create custom routes, hurdles, and jumps, and use all your different tools in your arsenal to make something that's relatively boring much more interesting and kind of crazy. Not just that though, there are weekly and seasonal multiplayer events, as well as where everyone can compete to get the highest score by completing different mini games. You can also customize your delivery guy by equipping them with different hairstyles, costumes, and skin tones. Honestly, it's one of those games that doesn't have much value, but there's honestly hours and hours of fun to be had just messing around in the sandbox world. So if you like something that doesn't really have much purpose, but basically you just go around and mess around with your friends, then honestly, I really recommend checking this one out. Scrap Mechanic is definitely a unique game that I actually played quite a lot a few years ago, and it's a game where you become a robot mechanic, you build your own machines, and you defend against hordes of corrupted robots. The game has multiple different modes like survival, there's challenge mode, and there is creative mode, each of them offering slightly different experiences. If you like the zombie type games and the thrill of dealing with never-ending hordes, then the survival mode is definitely going to be something you're going to be interested in. The challenge mode has you completing more than 40 different challenges in different locations, or you can even try the creative mode where you can basically mod and create whatever you want. I think the most unique thing about Scrap Mechanic is definitely the setting. It's very wholesome, and I honestly can't think of another game that has the same premise, and it's definitely got a lot of unique things about it. So if you like games that are, I don't know, wholesome, fun, and definitely something you can play with friends, then Scrap Mechanic is something you should check out. Kerbal Space Program is a sandbox game where you control the Kerbal alien race in their quest to explore the galaxy. You discover more about the space bodies, build space stations and hubs, and explore different planets and moons, all while trying to keep the crew alive. There are 3 game modes in Kerbal Space Program, each offering different playstyles, just kind of like Scrap Mechanic. The sandbox mode lets you do whatever you want at your own pace. The career mode lets you recruit and train members for your team and explore different planets. In contrast, the science mode lets you unlock technologies by performing different experiments on materials found across the star system. The game lets you hire, train, and manage your crew to ensure that only the best and most skilled astronauts tag along for the adventure that awaits ahead. Merging several space stations together can create a massive starship. You can even scan the terrain on a planet or moon before launching an expedition toward it. The goal is to extract as much information and resources from different planets across the solar system and the entire galaxy to know more about them. But just so you know, this game is pretty difficult, and you really do have to know what you're doing, and there's a big learning curve. Also, there's Kerbal Space Program 1, and then there's Kerbal Space Program 2. At the time of me recording this, the second game has quite a lot of issues, and you may find yourself running into a lot of crashes and performance issues. So if you don't want to wait for them to fix that, you can definitely jump into that one. Although the first game is still excellent. So you have multiple options here. Depending on when you're watching this video, I would just check it out, see which one looks better to you, and make your choice. Brick Rigs is a sandbox game about building custom cars and honestly wreaking havoc with them. The game's world supports proper destruction physics, so ramming into other racers and buildings is much more chaotic than you would expect. You can create a brand new car from scratch, or you can import some of the already created models from the Steam Workshop. You have more than 200,000 cars to choose from, so I'm confident you'll probably find something you'll like. Honestly, the highlight of Brick Rigs is going to be the community. There are still so many people working on this game and working with the game, and if you want a community that'll just welcome you in and offer basically an unlimited amount of Steam Workshop items to mess around with, then I definitely recommend checking out Brick Rigs. So next up is Stormworks. This is a game where you are dropped into a sandbox where you can build and run your very own air-sea rescue service. The thrilling job lets you rescue people from forest fires, spilling oil tankers, sinking ships, and help those who are stranded at sea. The world does have proper physics and destruction mechanics, so you're going to want to plot your route to the rescue site carefully, and you're going to want to avoid fires and all kinds of different obstacles. There are also other factors that are going to affect your operation, such as day and night and the weather, so those are things that you're going to have to consider. There's honestly a lot to unpack here, so I'll try my best to keep the information as streamlined as possible. You can import vehicles and rescue scenarios from the Steam Workshop and play them together with your friends. These missions can take place literally anywhere, from coasts to mountaintops and even in the middle of the storm-torn sea. Stormworks has two main game modes: Custom Creative and Campaign Survival. Campaign mode focuses on the overarching plot of you creating your own rescue service, rescue and training people, and going out on rescue missions. Survival mode adds another layer of realism and difficulty on top of the game by introducing mechanics like spreading fire, vehicle damage, medical conditions, damage from water pressure, and even sharks. It allows you to create custom vehicles as well as being ready to dispatch your crew to undertake search and rescue missions in different environments such as mountains, islands, rigs, and way more. It's really a fantastic sandbox rescue game that you can play today on Steam if conducting search and rescue missions in a hostile environment through meticulous planning interests you. So as we go from owning space stations to destruction derbies and running our own search and rescue company, this next sandbox game on Steam will have players plan out and commit dangerous heists. Teardown is a game about accepting shady jobs from mysterious people to earn enough money to pay off your piling debt. You'll have to do your own homework, study the job, make a plan, and then use all the weapons and tools in your arsenal to get in and out without getting caught by the robots or, of course, dying. The game has a fully destructible voxel world with realistic physics and mechanics like fire, explosions, debris, water, ragdoll, and smoke. You can blow up and zip around, whatever is between you and a successful raid. The campaign has over 35 missions and lets you tinker with a wide arsenal of tools and weapons in a highly reactive sandbox to get full heist experience. Teardown also supports Steam Workshop and modding for those who want to customize the game even further. I like to think Teardown is kind of like a voxel version of Payday 2, sort of, but with just an unbelievable level of destruction. So even if you're not really into these type of games, I recommend just even looking at footage, and honestly, it may even just interest you from that. So definitely one to have in your library. Worldbox God Simulator is a sandbox game available on Steam where you take on the role of God, who watches over humans and civilizations as they colonize, expand, explore, uncover, and discover more about the world they live in. You can let humans form colonies, wage wars for kingdoms, and kill each other as they please, or you can intervene using your godly powers and shape up the world however you want it to be. You can cause tornadoes, summon crabs that annihilate entire continents with laser beams. You can make it rain meteors and honestly do way more. There are 4 main races in the games: humans, orcs, dwarves, and elves, having their own traits and habits. You can also create other smaller procedurally generated worlds if you want and change the rules there. Worldbox God Simulator is a fun sandbox you can enjoy over the weekend, and who knows, maybe you'll end up spending hundreds of hours playing it. People Playground is an interesting sandbox game I found while searching for games like this on Steam. The devs drop you inside a massive plain box with people, and you are free to shoot, stab, kill, and maim them as you see fit. There's nothing more to it, really. Some people might find this game a bit too extreme with its cartoonish blood and gore, while others might have mindless fun with it. But morally speaking, I'm still on the fence, trying to guess the intentions behind the game. Honestly, if you are in a Discord call and you're streaming your screen and people just watch you just torturing this ragdoll, it may raise some questions, but you know, if destruction and chaos and a little bit of torture interest you, I guess you can check this one out on Steam. Satisfactory is the sandbox game that I'm most familiar with on this list, and I've probably put the most hours into, and I can confidently say it is one of the most addictive factory building sandbox games out there. The developers update it with more content, areas, and tools constantly, and the community is welcoming too. So you're dropped into unmined planets with the goal of mining materials and resources from the planet. As you explore newer areas in the game's open world, you'll encounter hostile animals and have to automate operations between your setups using trains, conveyor belts, and other tools. You can build factories in green meadows, deserts, and high altitudes. Honestly, whatever you want. Each area presents you with its own set of challenges and terrain difficulties, and you gotta plan around and ensure that your operation keeps running smoothly. If you play the game for a decent amount of time, you'll end up with just multiple factories, a whole system. It's so in-depth, and you can do so much with the game. So if you're very much high level and you like in-depth games where you can, build the most efficient factories and systems, then this is definitely one that you're going to want to look into. So the last entry on this top 10 list is Trailmakers. It's a game about creating vehicles of all shapes and sizes and exploring the two huge sandbox worlds that they offer. The maps are filled with jumps, ramps, pipes to go through, pits, volcanoes, water bodies, and much more. You can build anything in the game using their intuitive building mod, and even a flying car if you want, or a car that is good enough to go across volcanoes. Really, your imagination is the only barrier here. The devs recently added a space exploration DLC with even more car modding options and the possibility of going out into space. It supports up to 8-player multiplayer where you can organize custom races, rallies, and other fun activities and competitions. Honestly, when I was playing with my friends, it ended up just us grabbing some robots from the Steam Workshop and fighting to the death. And that's another big plus of the game, is that the Steam Workshop community is active and they're always sharing new items and robots, cars, whatever you name it. They're always sharing more things to use. You can kind of imagine it as Lego car building sandbox without the Lego aesthetic. This is such a fun game that's definitely worth your time. You can just hop in with your friends and form races or just cause mayhem. It's really a true to form sandbox game that I highly recommend. All right, well, that concludes our findings on the top 10 best sandbox games on Steam. Let me know in the comments below what you think about the list, which of these titles you've already tried already, and what you like about them. Don't forget to like the video if you found it fun and informative, and subscribe for more of the same type of videos. This is Caleb signing out, and I will see you all in the next video.